people are saying, was this bad for boxing? Tyson Fury versus Ngannou, was it bad for boxing? It was, but not for the reason that you're going to think I'm saying why it was bad for boxing. It wasn't, to me, it was not bad for boxing that Ngannou should have beat Tyson Fury. That's not, the Tyson Fury, Ngannou was competitive and Ngannou dropped Tyson Fury. That's not bad, to me that's not bad for boxing. What's bad for boxing is confirming what everybody else thinks. That's what's bad for boxing. What's bad for boxing is robbing Ngannou. That's what's bad for boxing. Because the people that don't watch the sport a lot, or even people that do watch the sport a lot, they claim robbery a lot. That's the rep that boxing has. There's robberies in it, that there's crooked, all these things. Now, you know me, if you follow me on Twitter, I judge all the fights. I think I'm one of the better people that judge fights as far as on Twitter, and I joke around and say the world, but it's probably not even a joke. I mean it wholeheartedly. But one thing that I've come to realization is that people just claim robbery whenever the decision goes the way they didn't think it was. But close fights happen all the time, and there's a reason why these fights are scored this way. There's a lot of swing rounds and stuff like that. There's not a lot of robberies that happen in boxing, really. It's not that often as you think. And there's a lot more crazy scorecards in MMA, if we're being honest, because a lot of times people score fights so different, they have different perspectives on what's actually effective. There's a lot of things that score in MMA. But what happened today was you had a giant event, right? A crossover fight. You had an MMA guy fighting a boxing guy, and you had people paying attention to it. You had a lot of people, a lot of eyes on it. Now, they're not watching every fight. They're not going to watch O'Shaquie Foster versus Rocky Hernandez tonight. They're not going to watch the fights that happened last week. They were paying attention to the giant event now. And this giant event now is the giant sample that what they're getting of boxing. This is what they think boxing is at. And when their eyeballs are there, a robbery happened. And they didn't just rob a boxer, they robbed an MMA guy. So now it just looks like all their fears and their expectations of boxing were now confirmed because they robbed the guy when everybody was paying attention. Even though it doesn't happen that often, but they did do it when everybody was paying attention. That's what's bad for boxing. What would have happened if Francis Ngannou would have won? It would have been the headline, would have been the storyline, would have been on ESPN, would have been on everything. It would have got Deontay Wilder back on mainstream media. It would have got Joshua back on mainstream media. We got Usyk there, and he would have got the Fury rematch. You would have had all these things. It would have been made boxing way more popular. You would have had people that didn't watch boxing, everybody to pay attention to boxing. We were robbed a star. We were robbed a moment. You're not supposed to mess up these moments. And if we're being honest, right, and they run this back, okay, they're going to run it back. What does it matter? It does matter. Because the thing is that Ngannou took this fight serious. He got prepared. He took it serious. He was really going in there to win the fight. And Tyson Fury didn't. And he should have been punished for that because he did lose the fight. But they didn't punish him when he should have been punished for that. They should have not given him the scorecard for it. Because he didn't win this fight. At best, there was a swing round, could have been a draw. But he didn't win this fight. But now what's going to happen is Fury's not going to let this fight, not take this fight serious. He's going to take this fight serious next time. He's going to take the fight serious next time, and he's going to put a beating, and he's going to put it on Ngannou. Now, like I said, maybe I'm wrong, because I was wrong about this one. So maybe I'm wrong about the next one. But I think that this wasn't a sharp Fury. But it doesn't matter, because when you sign the contract, you show up. Discipline and all that is a skill, and he didn't show up. And he allowed all this spectacle to get in the way of what was a potential of this guy as an opponent. So if we had the rematch and Fury goes and smokes him, we missed on a moment because Ngannou won this moment. That's what he got. There was a moment. This was his Trojan horse. He came in, he surprised Fury, and he had Fury beat. But you robbed him of that moment. You robbed him of that opportunity, and you robbed boxing of that storyline. Those moments like that are important for a sport. They were important for a sport, and what really happened was the judges started getting nervous because how close the fight was. And when they got really close to competitive rounds, they didn't think in their mind they could actually score for Ngannou. I don't think it was pre-planned. I don't think anyone expected it. I think that the judges, when they got to the moment, they couldn't believe that they actually were in a fight that could be scored for Ngannou. They panicked and gave it to a round that was semi-close. They felt like, it was reasonable. They gave it to Fury. That's what happened. Because they didn't know if they could actually give the fight to Ngannou. It's a shame. It's embarrassing. It confirms a lot of things. I think it really did hurt the sport. Not the fact that Ngannou won. The fact that they robbed him. The fact that they confirmed their fears about what boxing is. Deuces.